In July 2020, my entire family was fighting like mad to raise $500,000 in a month's time to move to Italy during the height of the pandemic to save the life of our 5-month-old baby girl, Kira, who, like one of her older sisters, was diagnosed with a devastating terminal illness known as metachromatic leukodystrophy, or MLD. My name is Kendra. As I sit here today, Kira's 4-year-old sister, Olivia, or Livy as we call her, who is now enrolled in hospice, is beside me, unable to talk, walk, eat on her own, or hold her head up. Because she was already symptomatic in 2020, it was too late for her to get the treatment that was offered to Kira. Livy's only option in the entire world was a clinical trial aimed at stalling the disease's progression, not curing it. My husband Dave and I were in the midst of Olivia's weekly trips from Phoenix, Iowa for the clinical trial when we got the news about Kira. Unfortunately, our doctors in Arizona knew of no other options available aside from the same clinical trial she was in, and the doctors in the clinical trial urged us to enroll our newborn daughter. Thankfully, I heard there was an experimental gene therapy treatment only available in Milan, Italy. Not only would it require us to move our entire family to Italy for 5 months while Kira completes the treatment, but we would also have to transfer Livy's clinical trial treatments to a European site. We had 1 month to raise enough money to make this move a reality and get Kira the treatment she needed before symptoms began. These seemingly insurmountable odds, however, did not deter us. We would literally do anything for our children. 1 month later, on August 15th, 2020, we boarded the plane to Milan for that treatment. It was an extremely emotional, difficult time for all of us. To see Kira endure chemo treatments, lose her hair, not be able to eat, and yet maintain her smile through it all, while Livy was getting worse with each passing day, was heart-wrenching. To this day, our lives are very bittersweet. We see Livy only get worse, while Kira is now living the life of a happy, healthy, normal 2.5-year-old girl. She does things that Livy never got the chance to do. Unfortunately, after we returned from Italy, Livy needed to exit the clinical trial due to complications with the internal port. After the port was removed, she was the happiest we had seen her in a really long time. But by then, she'd already lost the ability to walk, talk, and eat on her own. And as she worsened, her treatment plan had to change. What initially started as only baclofen for spasticity and CBD lotions for muscle pains has now turned into 8 medications on a daily basis, and 2 additional medications as needed. Livy now receives baclofen 3 times a day for spasticity, gabapentin 3 times a day for neuropathy, levetiracetam 2 times a day to keep seizures at bay, sulfatrim once a day to keep UTIs away, clonidine and melatonin to help her have a painless rest each night, THC twice a day for pain and anxiety, and glycopyrrolate 3 times a day for drooling. For the moments when she's screaming in pain, and because she can no longer speak to tell us what's causing it, we have to use diazepam as needed, which is also on deck for seizures. And when that doesn't do the trick, we have to use morphine. She also receives physical therapy once a week, music therapy once a month, and due to staffing issues, she hasn't been able to receive OT and SLP therapies once a week as usual. This has rendered her augmentative communication device almost useless. Her hospice nurse also visits us every 2 weeks for checkups, and they now deliver all of her medications to our home. For Kira, however, she doesn't need anything. No meds, no therapies. She's running, she's jumping, climbing, spinning, saying her ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. She's actually advanced in communication and is currently attending preschool. The gene therapy she received in Italy transformed her life and ours. Being able to see her not just survive, but thrive brings us to tears. This is what Livy could have had if this disease was caught earlier. Now, our lives are spent at home. We can't risk Livy getting COVID for fear it will shorten her time with us even more. Family vacations have come to a halt, aside from our annual checkups for Kira in Italy, but that doesn't include Livy because the trip would be too hard on her. We can't even go to a restaurant as a family anymore. Dave and I are often forced to divide and conquer. One of us can take our oldest daughter Ava along with Kira to do activities, but one of us always has to stay with Livy, whose life revolves around her sisters. She's sad when they're away, and she lights up upon their return. Every morning, Ava and Kira run into our room to get Dave and I, and then we all go get Livy. Yet every single time we do that, I wonder if she's still going to be breathing when we open that door. We live in a constant state of fearing that fateful day. When I think of an ideal treatment for MLD, gene therapy would absolutely be it. Hands down. As a parent, I would gladly give up 5 months of my life to endure a treatment that would provide a normal life for my child.